Hello, Spokane. Today, my fellow Zags and I are going to talk to you about our experiences here in the Netherlands. These last 3 weeks, we've been studying in the Dutch town of Delft, learning all about designing sustainable cities, specifically the Dutch approach, and how we can learn from their experiences for our own sustainable action plan here in Spokane. Our time here consisted of various classroom activities about sustainability taught by our GE professors, furthermore learning firsthand from Dutch innovators on various field trips throughout the Netherlands. And lastly, using our immense brain power to compile our experiences into various detailed written reports. These reports, available to you, describe our experiences here and highlight different ways we think that we could possibly improve Spokane's Sustainable Action Plan. My classmates and I divided ourselves into various groups, which each tackled the 4 areas of Spokane's Sustainable Action Plan: buildings and energy, transportation and land use, waste diversion, and water use resources, comparing our different learnings here to our areas of action. In this presentation, my classmates and I will summarize their various subjects, and again, seal reports for the full details. And first, we're going to build off with buildings and energy.
We are the Buildings and Energy Group, presenting to you today on 3 of our 4 proposed approaches towards the Spokane Sustainability Action Plan. Our first approach is modular construction associated with Goal 1 and Strategy 1. The second approach is retrofitting and repurposing buildings associated with Goal 1 and Strategy 2. The third approach is green roofs and facades associated with Goal 1 and Strategy 2. The fourth and final approach, which we will not be presenting today, is Sustainability Hub for Entrepreneurs associated with Goal 3 and Strategy 6. Thank you very much.
One of the approaches that we tackled was the modular construction. Modular construction is a building method where components are constructed off-site and then transported on-site, and then where they're installed individually. This saves a lot of time as it adopts a non-linear construction method, which allows multiple parts of the construction to occur at the same time, both on-site and then off-site. It also reduces the end-of-life waste, as many of the components are able to be deconstructed and then reused in the future. This can take form in a lot of different variety of ways, such as CLT and even shipping containers. The image on the bottom left is actually a part of the wastewater treatment plant that we saw at a city here on our trip in Netherlands. And inside of it, it is used to house heating coils, which is then part of the way they convert methane, or convert their waste into methane to be reused as natural gas.
Retrofitting and repurposing of existing buildings is a major component in accomplishing a low carbon and energy efficient future. Efficiency retrofits has an immense impact on the amount of emissions and energy consumptions from a building. So improving what already exists should be a priority instead of using more resources by demolishing and starting from scratch. For example, in Delft, the old central train station has been repurposed as a multi-use facility with offices, shops, and even a restaurant. Spokane can meet the carbon level goals stated in the action plan by encouraging and incentivizing the reuse and retrofitting of what already exists in our beautiful city.
As you can see here, green roofs and facades are a strategy that place vegetation on top of and on the side of roofs to make the urban environment more sustainable. Green roofs and facades have the benefit of being a natural insulator, which can help save energy costs in buildings, as well as reduce the amount of waste that is produced through artificial insulators. Green roofs and facades also help to reduce the heat island effect seen in cities by using vegetation instead of asphalt paneling or tiles, and the vegetation actually absorbs the heat while the asphalt reflects it. This will help to reduce the risks of heat-related health problems. If you'd like to read more about any of these strategies, you can see them in our final paper. And now we will cycle over to transportation.
Hello everyone, we are here to present to you about transportation and land use and its relation to sustainability within Spokane. We are going to talk about 3 main points today. To start, we're going to talk about vehicle miles traveled in relation to the reduction of them through mode shifts. This relates to the Spokane Sustainability Action Plan goals of increasing transit ridership and also increasing the adoption of walking, cycling, and micromobility. Along with this, we're going to talk about the strategy of traffic calming, and this relates to the goal from Spokane Sustainability Action Plan of improving transportation safety. And finally, we're going to talk about the last strategy of equitable development, and this focuses on the goal from the Sustainability Action Plan of encouraging sustainable land use that promotes varied housing options and infill development. We hope you can learn of the relation of transportation and land use and the sustainability practices of Spokane.
Vehicle miles traveled can be reduced by making forms of transportation other than cars more abundant and attractive. Bike lanes can be added as well as walking paths on nearly every street to increase connectivity, and bike highways such as these can be used to connect further areas. Public transportation can be increased by increasing the amount of stops and the frequency of the system. And then very car-dominated areas, such as the top right picture, was once very car-dominated. They can be redesigned to include many other forms of transportation.
An important factor that influences the use of active transportation is safety, both perceived and actual safety. The Netherlands integrates traffic calming measures into their streets, and in my time here, I've noticed that I feel safe walking and cycling into my destination. This is a picture of a street in Delft. It's in a mixed-use neighborhood, and there's 2 lanes, and it has a dividing center cobble median, and the lanes are narrow, which encourage drivers to go slowly, and the bike paths are buffered with trees and parking for cars. This is just one way that the Dutch promote walking and cycling and make the users feel safe. And this is a strategy that Spokane can use to further their goal of promoting active transportation and also increasing traffic safety.
The first goal of the transportation section of the Spokane's Sustainability Action Plan highlights equal opportunity housing for all. We saw many examples of this in our month abroad, and this picture here shows one such development. The development is a subsidized housing for students and lower income individuals that provides an equal opportunity for walking, biking, and driving. This accessibility of these modes allows for the residents to invest their income into other economic opportunities other than car maintenance, costs, and fuel. Next up will be waste diversion and material conservation.
Waste diversion and materials conservation is important to define what a circular economy is. In a real layman's term, circular economy is using materials in concert with nature, but that requires 2 things. First, viewing waste as a resource, and 2, planning on a way to incorporate that resource when you make the product. We're going to use 3 approaches that we're going to talk about: consumer outreach, food waste reuse, and an innovative product called Seawood that we found here in the Netherlands to address the Spokane Action Plan's 2 main goals for waste diversion and material conservation, and they're right here. Okay, next up we're going to talk about consumer outreach.
Educating the public on the waste system and how that affects the system is important, as these are the ones who produce the waste in the city. Through education and intentional measures, such as the one picture on the right, we can change the habits of the citizens to produce less waste, recycle, and compost more. Reduction of waste helps save money and resources, while recycling allows for these resources to be reused again, and compost allows for reuse in fertilizers and in agricultural spaces. By changing these habits to create more solidarity, save money, and reuse and recycle. Up next is a strategy that further explores food waste and compost.
Food waste is most commonly repurposed through composting. Some scraps can be reused directly, such as coffee grounds, which a company in the Netherlands uses to grow mushrooms. Getting water-rich foods out of the waste stream decreases the amount of energy consumed by the waste energy plant, and the food acts as a fertilizer, decreasing food production cost and increasing the quality of life with cheaper food. Using the waste material makes an economic gain out of a societal hindrance, and the business model has been proven to work. The next strategy is sustainable products.
We got to tour what was once a water park but is now a place called Blue City, and this provides a platform for entrepreneurs that all share a common goal of creating more of a circular economy. One innovation we found is called Seawood, and this was utilizing this renewable resource seaweed to create building material that's natural, compostable, and reusable. One building in Spokane is called the Jensen Bird Building, and I think it's a great place to implement something like Blue City to get to our goal of creating more of a circular economy in Spokane. Now we will flow into the water resource strategies.
Water is an important resource, possibly our most important. It's used not only for human consumption, but also for things like waste disposal, for system cleaning, for transportation, and for power generation. Through a combination of natural hydrological cycles and built hydraulic systems, civil engineers working in the water systems industry make it available for us all to use on demand. So in this section, we're going to hone in on water as a resource. We're going to talk about stormwater runoff and how we can limit it using things like water squares with Sarah. We're going to talk about flood prevention and riparian ecosystem reclamation through things like Room for the River program in the Netherlands. And we're going to discuss drought protection and how consumer initiatives can help to reduce water waste. These are going to specifically address things that the Spokane City Council decided were important, including protecting natural aquatic ecosystems, ensuring sustainable water availability, and protecting the water through public water stewardship. There's a lot of other great topics about water that you can read about in our report, but this is going to cover the basics.
Spokane's Sustainability Action Plan strives to prevent pollution from stormwater combined sewage overflow. The city of Rotterdam in the Netherlands faces similar issues. Its solution is a water square, as seen on the screen. It collects stormwater in basins to alleviate the pressure placed on sewage systems during heavy rainfall. When dry, it's a sports court and a space for communities to throw events. During rainfall, it prevents flooding, pollution, and stores water that can be used during periods of drought. If you want to learn more, you can read my report. Now Elizabeth is going to talk about Room for the River.
The Room for the River strategy addresses the goal to protect the Spokane River and its natural aquatic ecosystems by working to reconnect the channel to its floodplain. This can enhance the biological ecosystem function and ensures relief for increased water levels due to climate change. The image on the left shows an area in the Netherlands in 2007 when the Room for the River program had not yet been implemented. The second image on the right is from 2021 and displays the same land after the strategy was put in place. This strategy is overall good for the environment because it reduces the risk of flooding, enhances the ecosystem, and improves water supply. Next, Sam will address a solution to maintaining this sustainable water supply.
Monitoring water output in the shower by the consumer addresses Goal 2 of the Spokane Sustainability Action Plan. This can be done by conserving water used in showers. Powered by hydropower, the polar barometer, shown behind me, connects directly to the shower and monitors temperature, water, energy, and reports directly to the user interface. Goals can be set in the app, and trends can be monitored over time to see how you're doing. Real-time data encourages the user to show their progress and reduces water that's drawn from the aquifer. As droughts begin to increase over time and their length increases, this is crucial, and one way to do this is encouraging hotels or homes to have one of these. Learning about this action, as well as the 3 other actions previously mentioned, had a big impact on all of us, which will be talked about by Matthew.
I believe I speak for the whole class when I say that we have all really enjoyed our time here in Delft. We've gotten to see and experience many great things. There was something for each student to get excited about, and we've learned a lot. We've been able to share some of that with you today, but there's still a lot more that we haven't had time to mention. So please, read the reports to find out more. Recently, we've been talking about how to apply what we've learned. Students have been thinking about what projects we can do to become more sustainable. We're all hoping to collaborate with the city in the future. We all want to do our part, and we're looking forward to helping make Spokane a better place. Thank you.